So hello and welcome everyone to our webinar this morning. Now today's webinar is going to be focused around NetSuite's SuitePeople module. Now SuitePeople is focused on HR and performance management, as you will already know. My name's Ross Johnstone. I'm a solution consultant here at Eureka Solutions. In terms of today's agenda, we're going to be running through a couple of slides, nothing too heavy on the slides, just to give a bit of background in terms of what SuitePeople is, and what functionality is available. We'll then be spending most of the time in a demonstration. We've got a demo account of SuitePeople set up for today, and we'll just be running through some of those pieces of functionality. Now, of course, every business is different, everyone's requirements are different. So if there's anything that you don't see today or anything that you would like to explore further, then please get in touch with your account manager and we would be more than happy to set up a tailored session to give you a further demonstration of what SuitePeople HR and performance management can offer. So just to get started, as you may well already be aware, NetSuite's focus is on providing one unified database across the entire company. Now, you may already be aware of that. You may be using the ERP, financials, you may already be using CRM, e-commerce if you're using Suite Cloud Advanced, and so on and so forth. You'll see up at the top there on the screen that we have also got SuitePeople that is part of the one unified database. So SuitePeople focuses on bringing the HR and people management all into that single data source, so that one unified database. Now, there's various different advantages of having that all within one unified database, which we'll get into during the demonstration. Now, before we kick off, as mentioned, just a couple of slides here just to highlight the functionality that SuitePeople offers. You'll see here on the screen that it's split down into two areas. Now, that's the core human resources as well as the performance management. In terms of the core human resources, we've got the employee hire and onboarding process, which we'll go through during the demonstration. We've also got the employee record management and reporting. Now, with SuitePeople, this expands on the employee records that you already have in NetSuite and already be familiar with, but adds additional fields, additional areas to those records, which of course can then be used on the reporting side of things. There are various different reports that come out of the box with SuitePeople, and as with other areas of the system, if there's anything more specific or anything more unique that you're looking to create or view in terms of reporting, then of course we can use that information that's in the system to provide those reports. Beyond that, for the core human resources side of things, we've got the organizational planning and setup, as well as the employee and manager self-service. Now, as part of that self-service, we do also include the time off management. So employees being able to enter time off requests and managers being able to have full visibility of those time off requests and of course approve or reject them as well. Now, on the right-hand side of the screen, you also see that we have got the performance management side of things. Now, the performance management covers goal management as well as performance reviews and appraisals, something that we can get into a bit more detail during the demonstration. Now, in terms of why we have separated these two areas out is because they are slightly different license types in terms of how you access the human resources functionality, and then expand on that for the performance management side of things. Now, those two different modules, those two different areas of functionality can of course be implemented at one time, or if you do want that phased implementation, then you can get started on the core human resources side of things and then expand with the performance management at a later date. So without further ado, we'll get into the demonstration. As mentioned, trying to keep it light in terms of slides today and just show you as much functionality as possible. If there's any questions throughout the session, then of course feel free to use the Q&A box and we can answer those questions at the end and make sure we cover off anything there. If you do want any further information beyond today's session, then once again, if you get in touch with your account manager, we would be more than happy to have further discussions and show you a more tailored demonstration of SuitePeople. Perfect. So you'll see here that we have got a demo account open up here with the SuitePeople functionality included. Now, as you'll see, it is all completely within NetSuite, so you should be familiar with a home dashboard like this. You'll see in the top right-hand corner, we are signed in as the HR manager. As with other editions of NetSuite, SuitePeople comes with out-of-the-box roles, which can obviously be then tweaked in terms of the permissions and restrictions to make sure that the users have the access to the system that they need to be able to carry out the tasks that they need to carry out as part of their role. You'll see here as well that we've also got some employee center users here, which we'll get into later on in the demonstration. That is the self-service side of things. So how employees and managers alike access the system for that self-service functionality. Coming down to the home dashboard itself, you should all be aware of the home dashboard within NetSuite. But if not, then the home dashboard is the user's own homepage. It means that they can get access to any areas of the system. They've got full visibility of KPIs, reminders, the things that they need to track. In terms of reminders and KPIs with SuitePeople, there are various different ones that come out of the box, as you'll see on the screen just now. Beyond that, the same applies with other areas of NetSuite where custom reminders and custom KPIs can also be created if there's anything more unique or specific that you are looking to track. You see here on the left-hand side with our reminders, the same applies for other areas of NetSuite, where it's extremely easy to set up the reminders that we want to be displayed on our home dashboard. You'll see here that we have got HR-focused, people-focused reminders here all around onboarding tasks, any time off requests, any open job requisitions, as well as some employees' birthdays and anniversaries there as well, making sure that we can track all of our HR and people information within the system. You'll see here in the middle as well, we have got our KPIs. Once again, for the HR manager, our KPIs are focused on the employees, the hires, as well as the terminations to make sure that we've got full visibility of that. Now, of course, being a demo account, there's a couple of the figures here. For example, the first year voluntary terminations, that there's no comparison. But of course, we've got that full visibility, as well as being able to view that in a trend graph as well, if need be. As with the reminders, it's extremely easy to set up and configure exactly what we want to be seeing on our screen. You'll see here that we can add standard as well as custom KPIs. So once again, just to reiterate, there are various different KPIs that come out of the box with the SuitePeople functionality. But if there is anything more specific that you are looking to bring into the system, then custom KPIs can be created and can be tracked on your home dashboard. Coming back to the home dashboard itself, you see we've got a couple of different sections around the screen here. On the right-hand side, we've got our KPI meters, allowing us to track the KPIs slightly more visual format. Scrolling down, you also see that we have got our tiles, which we'll come back to in a moment. Our tiles provide that quick and easy access to different areas of the system. So for the HR manager, being able to view a headcount analysis, employee list, job catalogue, onboarding and offboarding tasks, so on and so forth. Scrolling down here, you'll see on the right-hand side, we've got a trend graph looking at our headcount by department, and then we've got a slightly more visual workforce demographics here, slightly more interactive than our trend graph here on the right-hand side. So you see with our workforce demographics, we're currently looking at a breakdown of the headcount by department. Now, once again, the benefit of having SuitePeople and drawing on that one unified database is that the departments will already likely be in your NetSuite account. So that information just flows across directly into the SuitePeople and the HR functionality. So this will already be set up, and if not, then it's a minor configuration to allow you to be able to report on your workforce by departments. As mentioned, this is an interactive trend graph here. So if we wanted to look at our demographics by location, we can view that here, looking at our London versus Manchester, so on and so forth. You'll see that we can also view by tenure, and we can see exactly how our employees break down in terms of how long they have been at the company, so on and so forth. We've got gender as well as employee type and anything that you want to be reporting on there. As we scroll down, just a couple of areas here, we've got our navigation shortcut group on the right-hand side, just giving us, once again, quick and easy access to different areas of the SuitePeople demo account that we've got today. But whether you use the tabs at the top, whether you use the navigation shortcut groups, the tiles, the global search, you're still going to get to the place that you need to be within NetSuite to view all your HR and people data. Scrolling down here, once again, you'll see on the left-hand side, we've got a trend graph looking at new hires. Now, the same applies for other trend graphs within NetSuite, where we can change the visualization of this quickly and easily, as well as being able to take this out of the system if we're looking to create any external reports, for example. You also see here in the middle, we have got our human resources KPIs. So this is a KPI scorecard, slightly similar to the KPIs that we've got on the top of the screen, but going into a bit more detail. So you'll see here that we've got stuff like our sales by active employee. Once again, another benefit of having all of your information in one unified database. The sales data is already within NetSuite, meaning we can create more accurate and more detailed KPIs with all of that sales information flowing into the people side of things as well. You'll see here as well that we can create a trend graph on the fly. So once again, if we wanted to create a trend graph, take that out of the system, then we can do so as well. Scrolling down here, just to finalize the home dashboard, we have got our performance reviews by status. The performance reviews is, of course, focused on the performance management side of things, which we can get into a bit more detail on later in the demonstration. But this is just showing visibility to the HR manager of different performance reviews and the status that they are at to allow us to track and make sure that our performance reviews are taking place, our appraisals are taking place and being completed by our employees and managers alike. Now, as with the home dashboard, for those of you who may not be familiar with NetSuite already, the home dashboard can be totally configured to show the visualization, visibility of different areas of the system that you require. So say, for example, your reminders here, you want that front and central, you can drag and drop that here. You can also personalize your home dashboard to add in different sections here, different areas of the system that you are looking to track and keep record of. You'll see here as well, if we hover over the KPIs, these are all drillable and they all come from different reports and searches within the system. So if we did want to go into a bit more detail and interrogate these figures, then we can click through and see them there. Now, beyond that, with our tiles, as mentioned, these give quick and easy access to different areas of the system. So say, for example, the HR manager in this case wanted to view the headcount analysis. We can quickly and easily follow through there and see our headcount trend here. Now, in terms of the visualization, getting different information, you'll see that we can change the date range, looking at 2022 or 2021, and we can look at our Q4 as well if we're looking for a quarterly breakdown, looking here at our hires and turnover snapshot, so being able to see our hires versus turnover. Coming back to the 2022 one here, we can also break this down by department. So once again, drawing on information that's already in the system, looking at the different employees across our administration, customer support, engineering, so on and so forth. Beyond that, if we've got sub-departments set up within NetSuite, then we can also track the sub-departments. So getting a bit more of a breakdown here. So say, for example, with our engineering, the people that are within the overarching engineering department, but are actually within the quality assurance, then we can have the visibility of that quickly and easily in the system. Now, I won't go through all of these, but the same applies for location, sublocation, gender, and subsidiary as well if you have multiple entities within your NetSuite account. Scrolling down here, you'll also see that we have got a hires and turnover trend. Once again, just getting that visualization in terms of our hires and our terminations. Now we can view that in both a numbers and percentage as well if we want that visualization. Now, this is just one example of the reports that come out of the box with NetSuite's SuitePeople. You'll see here there's various different reports on our employee change history, any changes that we're making to our employee's salary, for example. We've got time off balances, we've got available time off reports, headcount analysis that we've viewed here, and turnover analysis as well. Beyond that, we can also track any workplace incidents. We can track benefits in terms of what coverage is available to our employees, as well as costs, and then leave of absences as well. So making sure we've got the visibility of any approved, pending, rejected, cancelled leave of absences, as well as being able to view any employees that haven't taken leave if we need to track that, as well as our employees' work calendars. So a bit of a whistle-stop tour there in terms of the home dashboard there for the HR manager. As mentioned, this home dashboard is the user's own space, so anything that they want to visualize here can be brought in through the different sections of the home dashboard, as long as that data is within the system. So coming up to the global search here, we'll just open up an employee record and get started in terms of the employee record management side of the HR functionality. So just using the prefix employee here, just to filter down to our employee records, we'll open up our employee record for Ryan Duncan. Now, opening this up here, you'll see that it is an employee record. If you are already familiar with NetSuite, you may already be familiar with the employee records within NetSuite. They are already a record that you'll have available within your account. Now, with SuitePeople, the employee record has been expanded out to include further detail, which we'll get to in a moment. So scrolling down here, you'll see all of the information that we've got on Ryan Duncan in this case. We've got his supervisor, we've got his contact details, as well as any classifications. So you see here that we've got the likes of the department, the location, the class, if that's something that we're tracking as well. And that means that from a reporting standpoint, this all flows through into the different reports that we have discussed already. And if we were to update this, of course, the reports would pick up on any of the updates as well. You'll see here that we've got a communication tab, so any approvals, any leave of absence requests, any onboarding tasks, so on and so forth can be seen here. You see as well that we can also attach files to our employee records, so if there is any paperwork, anything that we want to track and make sure that we've got accessibility to that, then that can be attached directly to the employee record. You'll see here we've also got our address, making sure we've got that personnel information for our employees. Moving on to the Human Resources tab, you'll see here that we have got all the information on this employee's job. We've got the type of employee, their employee status, as well as the job description, so what their role actually includes. You'll see here as well that we've also got the option for expense and purchasing limits if we are looking to use NetSuite's expense management or purchasing approval workflows there as well. Scrolling down, you'll see here that we could get visibility of the subordinates. In this case, Ryan Duncan isn't a manager, so there is no one that he is currently managing. Coming along here, you'll see that we've got the information in terms of emergency contacts, if that had been filled in. Once again, education as well, any workplace incidents, as well as a personal tab, being able to track any personal information on our employees. Now, as with other areas of NetSuite, if there are any sort of things that you're looking to track that aren't included in the employee record, then this could be managed with custom fields, making sure that we have got that recorded on the employee record. Moving along the tabs here, you'll see that we've also got the likes of compensation tracking, so making sure that we have got record of the wage or salary of our employee, as well as any bonuses if they are so lucky to receive bonuses. You'll see here as well that we've also got a job details tab, which holds information in terms of their job grade, whether their job's part of a job family, a job level, and a comp ratio, so on and so forth. And you'll see here in the time off, we have got visibility in terms of their time off plan. Now, this employee's got a UK salaried time off plan, can also have hourly time off plans if it's an hourly employee, and so on. You'll see here as well, we've got the visibility in terms of what time off they have currently got available, drawing on personal days, sick days, vacation or holidays, volunteer days, and so on. If there are any different types of time off that your employees are entitled to, then of course those types can be added and recorded in the system as well. Now, you'll see in a moment that these balances flow across onto the self-service side of things. The employees have visibility of what time off is available for them to take. Easy for me to say. You'll see here on the government issued IDs, we can track stuff like passports, driver's license, any sort of IDs, any records that we require for our employees, as well as the benefits here. So being able to track what benefits this employee is entitled to, what benefits they've opted into, and so on. Won't go through all of these tabs, but you also see we've got the likes of the access, so just making sure that we have got a self-service role assigned to this employee, allowing them to access the system for that self-service and time off request side of things. Coming back up to the employee record at the top of this screen, you'll see here that we do have the option to edit our employee record. Now, when we edit this, you'll see that we have got the effective date functionality, which means that we can make changes in advance of the date. So say, for example, this employee was getting a salary increase. So we'll change the base pay here, but we'll say that this will only take effect as of the 1st of January, so as of the new year. And click OK here, you'll see a notice at the top of the screen saying that we are making changes. We are editing this as of the 1st of January. Now, this means that any changes we do make to this employee record, so if we were to go into the compensation tracking side of things and change our base salary, that would only be updated as of the 1st of January. So once again, making changes in advance of those coming into effect, meaning that we can manage our employees more easily, and meaning that we can make these changes ahead of time as well. So in terms of the employee record, as mentioned, if there's any additional information that you wish to track on your employees, that can be done through custom fields. You'll see here as well that we've also got the record of the job of the employee, and you'll see there's a hyperlink allowing us to access the information of the job here. So this has got all of the details for the software engineer here for this role in our company. You'll see here we've got a description as well as the job grade. So if we're looking at a minimum, maximum, and midpoint salary there, as well as looking to track that job grade, that job family, and job level as well. In terms of tracking the talent acquisition side of things, SuitePeople isn't a dedicated talent acquisition management system, but there is the ability to track job requisitions internally. So you see here on our job requisitions, we can come in here and click, and we can see that we have currently got a job requisition, so a job opening for this role. You'll see here that we can track all of the information. So in this case, we're looking to hire 3 software engineers, and we're looking to join them into the engineering department in the Manchester location. We've got an open date as well as a target hire date. You'll see in this demo account, we're actually pretty far behind our target hire date. But if we were looking to keep this up to date, make any changes, then of course we could edit this here. You'll see here as well, we can also track the hiring manager, recruiter, and who has approved this as well, which has been the HR manager in this case. You'll see that we can track the status of this. So if we were to fill the position, we could change this here. If we were looking to close this off as well, we could do so through the status. So in terms of tracking the job requisitions, of course, they can be done through the system. It is mainly used for an internal record to make sure we've got visibility of the jobs that we are looking to fill at that moment in time. Now, in terms of when that job position has been filled, the employee is started, they would then be able to get access to the self-service side of SuitePeople and would be able to begin an onboarding process. So with SuitePeople, the onboarding process are managed through onboarding templates, which I will open up just now. You see here that we have got a software engineer onboarding checklist template at the bottom here. So if we view this, this has got all of the tasks that we would expect a new software engineer to have to complete, as well as the other tasks that other users would need to complete to make sure that this employee is successfully onboarded. So you'll see here in terms of the tasks, we define what these tasks are and who they are assigned to. So you see, for example, at the top, we have got the need to order a laptop as well as a monitor, which has been assigned to a user in the system. You'll see here as well that we can also add hyperlinks, so that would take us to our PO screen, where we could then enter a PO for a laptop or a monitor, so on and so forth. You'll see here that as we scroll down, there's different tasks that are assigned to different people, as well as being able to include the supervisor, so the manager, as well as being able to include the employee as well, which all flows into the self-service side of SuitePeople and making sure that all of these tasks have been completed in a timely manner. Now, these templates can be used, you could just have a default template, or you could have templates for certain roles, depending on how your onboarding differs across the business. So just coming back to the home dashboard here, we'll change roles into one of the employee center self-service roles to show you how this information flows across that self-service side of things. So if we come up to the right hand side here and we'll just log in as Ryan Duncan, the employee that we have been viewing throughout the demonstration so far. You'll see here this will open up the self-service employee centre role. So the employee centre you may already be familiar with SuitePeople. This employee centre role has been expanded to make sure that this employee has got full visibility of the HR and performance management side of NetSuite. You'll see here on terms of the onboarding, that has all came across from our onboarding template that has been assigned against this new employee. And you'll see that we've got full visibility in terms of what tasks we are responsible for completing as part of our own onboarding process. You'll see here that we've got a process tracker. We can continue our onboarding. We can see our tasks here. In this case, Ryan Duncan's pretty far behind on all of the tasks. If we go to our plan and view all tasks and continue our onboarding process, you'll see here that it's a tick box exercise in terms of making sure that these tasks are completed, the likes of our introduction to the local IT staff. Once that's been completed, it would be a case of Ryan Duncan ticking that there, saving, and you'll see here that the completion date will update to today's date, as well as our process tracker here updating as well to let Ryan know that he's further along in his onboarding process. As well as onboarding, the self-service employee centre role gives visibility across various different areas of the HR side of things. You'll see here in terms of our benefits, and we can track what benefits we're entitled to. We could get a hyperlink there to the benefit provider's website, making sure that we can then log in and view any pension, dental, medical benefits that we have got. You'll see here as well, scrolling through, we can also view our company news. So news can be published across to all employees as well as those in specific entities or departments. Scrolling down here, you'll see that we can track goals that is part of the performance management side of things, as well as being able to track our time off. We see here as well that expense reports and purchases can also be entered by our employees if this is functionality that you are looking to use or are already using within NetSuite. So you see here for Ryan, we've got that visibility of what our time off balance is, and we can request time off directly from here. Now, when requesting time off, it's a pretty straightforward process in terms of selecting the date. So we say we're looking to request time off the last week of March. We enter that in there and we select the time off type that we're looking to take off. So that would be a vacation or just holiday in this type of situation, or annual leave, whatever you want to call it. You'll see here that Ryan is notified in terms of other co-workers, so other people in his department that are away. So I click of a button, we can see here that Andy Black has already requested Friday the 31st of March off, meaning that we can have that visibility before we submit our time off request. So we'll just go through the process and submit this anyway for approval. This will then go to approval for this user's manager, making sure that they've got full visibility of the time off request that has been entered. You'll see here that the user can also track this, seeing that this is at a status of pending approval and that they have requested that annual leave. So coming back into the roles here, we'll just quickly change role to Ryan's manager, who is Matthew Maynard in this demo account. And you'll see here that we have got a similar self-service screen. The difference here for managers is that they have their own employee dashboard as well as their manager dashboard as well. So this means that on the employee dashboard, they can do stuff like requesting their own time off, tracking their own goals, as well as having that manager tab where they can track the employees that they are managing. You'll see here if we open this up, we've got visibility across the full team's actions and goals, once again drawing on that performance management side of things, as well as reminders in terms of outstanding time off requests, any onboarding tasks, any expenses or purchases that we need to approve, making sure that we've got full visibility of the roles that we have got as a manager. So in terms of tracking the time off request that has been entered in there, we could access this through our time off request tab here. So if we open this up, this will give us a view of the time off requests that have been entered by employees that we are managing. You see here that we've got Ryan Duncan's request for the 27th to the 31st of March. And if we view this here, we've then got the option to approve or reject. So say, for example, we already know that if Matthew is off, then Andy can also be off. We can see here that Andy is already entered in that time off request. That's already been approved, and we can reject it if that is the case. For the sake of this demo, we are just going to approve this time off request, but of course we could reject this and send it back to the employee to resubmit if need be. Now this has been approved. You'll see here that we have also got a visibility of other time off requests. So in this case, we've got Emily here that's entered a time off request. We can see straight away that there's a possible schedule conflict, which means we may want to look at the request in a bit more detail, make sure that we're tracking exactly what that request is and what the conflict is there as well. So you see here in terms of the manager's home dashboard, fairly similar in terms of the company news, different areas of the system that they can see, that they can access. You'll see here that we've also got our calendar, which provides that visibility in terms of members of our team that have got annual leave booked for that day, making sure that we've got that full visibility of the team members that are going to be off. We've also got our talent tab here at the top, which is focused on the performance management side of things. And you'll see here that we've got a drop down for our goals as well as our performance reviews. If we start with our goals allow us to track our own as well as our team's goals here. You'll see Matthew Maynard, for example, in this case, has got his own goals as well as goals for different team members that make up the team there. You'll see here that the goals can be planned and progress closed if they are finished. And as a manager, Matthew can track all of the goals across the different employees that he is in charge of. You'll see here as well that we've got stuff like the visibility of being able to manage our average open cases and close them within 5 days. Now that's drawing on information that's already within NetSuite. Once again, if you want any sales data to be brought across for goals, then that can be done as well. In terms of creating new goals, you'll see here it's a case of just selecting this. We can then put them in the planned or in progress tracker here and make sure that we are tracking our progress across those goals. As well as our goals, we also have our performance reviews. Once again, as a manager, Matthew can view all of the performance reviews that are currently ongoing for the employees, as well as the status that they are at. You'll see here, for example, the one at the bottom for Emily is currently in the status of review or draft, meaning that Matthew can make changes to this performance review, as Emily has already submitted their own feedback. You see here when we open up the performance reviews, we can see a side-by-side in terms of the questions that we are asking our employees and their goals there as well. So we can really get into the granular detail in terms of performance whilst answering these different questions. Now, of course, in this demo, fairly specific in terms of what went well, what didn't go well, and what opportunities are there to improve, but these can be defined by performance review templates, so this can get as detailed as you need it to be. It would then be a case of completing this, making sure that all of the information is up to date, making sure that we've got feedback both from the employee and their manager, and then submitting this for approval for the HR manager to have that overall visibility of the performance reviews that our employees and managers are completing. So as mentioned at the start of the session, didn't think we would take up the full time today, the full hour, but if there's any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A box. And if there's anything that you've seen today or anything that you have not seen today, and you've got any questions on, then once again, please feel free to get in touch with your account manager, and we would be more than happy to set up a follow-up session to give you a more detailed demonstration of SuitePeople and what it can offer your business specifically, as well as any questions on anything that you have seen today. So we've got no questions as of yet. I'll hang around for a bit and make sure that if there are any questions coming through, that those are answered. But of course, once again, if there's anything more specific that you're looking to be answered, then please do get in touch with your account manager, and we'd be more than happy to set up a more detailed discussion around NetSuite's SuitePeople, HR and performance management.